Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Quick look here at Bitcoin, seeing what's going on. We're going to double check some key factors here, specifically liquidation. I'm very curious about this, and obviously helping understand best practice and what might work best here. Today, with the price pulling back, we have a sea of red. It's generally best to kind of look at support and resistance levels based on volume and liquidation. So that's kind of what we're going to focus on here today. And since the monthly candlestick closed, we'll also take a look at that as well. So if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Hope you can learn something here today. This is the last 1 month's worth of look back for our Bitcoin liquidation levels. Okay, so we got a heavy concentration between 74 and 75. And of course, we know this here, but right around 60,500 is that lower level that was never truly swept back here on the 20th of March. So not in bad shape, honestly, but we did sweep this lower level at 68,000, and majority of that has been taken care of. There's still a little bit left at 68.1, as low as 67,600. And that's a key Fibonacci retracement level there at 67.6. So we want to pay attention to that. That could be the very last leg down here. At least ideally in a perfect world, that would be the last leg down before the price recovers. Again, we do not know for sure if it's going to recover, but generally speaking, that's the concept. Most of the time when you sweep lower levels of liquidity, the price action does recover to the other side. So taking a look here, this is the last 7 days. We can see just again, a little bit of liquidation between 67.6 and 68K. Okay. So wouldn't be surprised if we see the price go sideways, do a little temperature check down below, and then recover as if it never happened. We may or may not see that right away, but that could be a possibility. Once again, this 0.382 Fibonacci retracement level is at 67,600. Taking a look at the monthly. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of key factors here. So monthly time frame, we're going to go to a different chart, an older chart here. We're going to look at a few key things here. So first of all, RSI, we did break below this ascending trend on the RSI. We have a this is a stochastic RSI divergence. Okay, so this is very common for that to occur. Keep in mind when that does occur, it doesn't necessarily mean the sky is going to fall, but a correction has happened in the past when we have stochastic overextend like this before. We had a similar scenario here as well, where the price action kind of lowered as well, but generally speaking, we're not in like dire straits, but it wouldn't be surprising if we do see somewhat of a larger correction just based on previous cycles. Once more, you got to recognize though, previous cycles are not necessarily factoring in right now. We've had significant amount of uptrend here. I think we had 7 months of continuation where the highest or the most amount of uptrend has been 6 months. So again, we're breaking patterns and a lot of different things are not coming to exact fruition, so to speak. But once again, it's just important to be mindful that we have those kind of scenarios from before. Does that mean you sell everything and you short it to the ground? No, probably not. But again, statistically speaking, we could see further downside. And if so, we've talked about this previously, that the 50 to 60K range, we'll discuss that here in a little bit, is a pretty solid support range based on recent volume. So we'll double check that. Either way you look at it, there is that stochastic divergence. We also have not broken below 70 in the RSI. This is another key takeaway here. Generally speaking, it's favorable to consider selling once you've passed that. We are not past that level yet, so generally speaking, I think it's okay to continue to hold. I really don't think that we're going to see anything much lower than 60,000 personally. Once again, every different scenarios, the situations are always dynamic. Okay, there's no other way around it. But everything looks fairly bullish in the overall sense. I know stochastic swinging down is a cause for some people, but I'm not overly concerned with it, just based on just how the market has shifted in the last few months. Okay, again, Bitcoin ETFs were never a thing in the past, and they are now. Okay, we got a lot of big money moving the market. We got to recognize that. Okay, weekly time frame. Similar scenario here, we're seeing these pullbacks occur, which is very, very consistent with just general retracement, okay? Now again, if you look in this history, we saw stochastic RSI and everything kind of tapering off right here, and the price went sideways for Bitcoin, okay? So we had this nice pennant type of pattern here in the weekly, and the price inevitably broke out after sweeping all the upper and lower levels of liquidity. Take a look at this here. What do you know? We swept the upper and lower levels already. So hypothetically, we could be getting, or at the beginning of a continuation here to the upside by retesting that 72,000 range. Okay, so again, no guarantees here, of course. These are just patterns that have a tendency of repeating themselves, but they oftentimes don't, and they don't have to. All right, so you got to recognize that. Either way, we're above all moving averages here on the weekly. I think that's a very solid consideration there. And generally speaking, most things are bullish. Okay, there's no other way around it. We are starting to see a shift in momentum. There's no other way to it. You can't avoid observing that, right? So let's put that in the back of your mind. Moving forward, we are testing the 20-day SMA on the daily. Let's go ahead and change our charts up here a little bit, and just kind of recognize that this is an important level. Okay, Again, it's important to try to hold above that because it would kind of imply that we're generally still bullish and potentially moving up. And if we break below that, we could very well see this this ascending trend line, this lower ascending trend line, retested. Okay, so again, losing the 20-day SMA isn't the end of the world, but it's generally not a great thing. It does shift the momentum a little bit, helping us understand that we're kind of losing a somewhat of a trend line. However, the larger trend line is more essentially, is more essential. We want to kind of verify that that is an important factor. We can also see here at about 67,000, upwards of about 67.7. Again, that next key level support at 0.382 fib. Alternatively, that's where we see a lot of support. That area right there is an important area to kind of pay attention to because we have a lot of support based on volume. So I'm speculating we're going to see a bounce in this range here between 68 and 67.6. If we don't, we lose that. We could invalidate this uptrend once we lose this ascending trend line. Okay, so again, we're not. How's the best way to describe it? We're not in terrible shape, but it could be better. Right? That's a good way to put it. All right. Anyways, we can see stochastic swinging down. This is common, of course. Once you see a bearish engulfing candle like this here so far, I wouldn't be surprised again. We just see a lower liquidity sweep of that 67.6. Potentially a long position at 67.6 would be viable at this point, just based on a lot of volume support we have in that range. Same thing here as well with the RSI at getting closer to 50. We could see a potential bounce here on RSI, and if so, that could help us, push the price action higher. Okay, so again, we're still on the right side of tracks here. We're not in dire straits, but again, we had an MACD-FU, so to speak, where the price comes up and rejects out, and this is a pretty common occurrence in either direction. So generally speaking, we can kind of summarize the daily time frame as more neutral. It has some bullish and bearish qualities, so in general, it's probably best to kind of avoid it with a 10-foot pole, kind of relax and wait for it to find its bottom. Okay. So we did establish a lower low here. We can see our previous lower low was 68,600 right there. And then of course the price action came down below here today. So we're quote unquote establishing lower highs and lower lows on larger time frames. Again, the candlesticks are still forming, so we don't want to jump the gun. But generally speaking, that's never a great sign. If we do take a look here, of course, at stochastic RSI, it is swinging up, giving us the indication we might see a shift in momentum or we've hit our tentative bottom. Same thing as well with RSI getting closer to 30. While we didn't get that true bounce off 30 and the money flow index bounce off 20, it's telling us we could see further downside. This is a nice potential recovery here at this level. Again, we don't have a ton of support at 68,000, so to speak. So once more, 67.6 is more of a likely scenario here where we got both the 200 and the 100-day SMA weight in there, kind of to average themselves out. So a lot of reasons why that 67.5 as a round number, kind of just that mid 67K range, is a likely bouncing point for us if we get to that level. So I would just expect that to happen, but try not to get too crazy with your leverage at that level too, just because that is a key level support does not imply that it's just going to bounce. I mean, we see tons of volume. What was it? Somebody sent a post in our Discord. I'll have to find it later and share it with you, but it was somewhere in the range of 6,500 Bitcoin was transferred to Coinbase a couple of hours ago, and then coincidentally we see the price action drop about 2 or 3%. So yeah, $500 million will do that. Okay. So again, we can see a lot of manipulation in the market. That's just generally how it works. All the more reason to use low leverage, low position size, not overexert yourself, so to speak, because you can destroy your account quickly if you do that. We are surviving and absolutely doing well in our community. I do have new results here in our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. If you're curious about last month, we did have 2 stop losses, or 1 stop loss, 1 trade we closed early. The rest was in profit. So good 94% accuracy for last month. So for this month, we will go ahead and see what happens. But for this current situation, we want to double check a couple of things here. And we can see that Ichimoku Cloud is confirming that we are on the bearish side of things. Okay, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to understand that. But being below the cloud is never a great sign. Keep in mind, though, it was range bound for some time, so this isn't the most valid indication that you want to take a short position. It just implies that we have lost that momentum, and that lagging span being free and clear implies that if you have a short position open, which we do have with Bitcoin, as a matter of fact, it's not a substantial position, but we took 19% in 5 days there, near and room protocol, 30%, 33% there. These are all shorts. We have, I think, 4 or 5 shorts open at this point, and things are looking pretty good. Filecoin actually coincidentally is the only one that isn't a short. That was a long, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so again, some good profits there. Should offset any type of potential redness we see so far. I'll cover some other altcoins that we have open as well, just to kind of verify some things. But at this point, I would say that Bitcoin is finding its bottom, and if anything, if it continues to lower, we can presume that 67.6 would be the likely next level based on liquidation and previous volume levels. And we'll just pay attention to see what's going on. So again, pump the brakes, folks. It's all good. No need to FOMO into anything right now. If you're dollar cost averaging, that's a different story altogether. But do not take any high leverage trades just yet, because we truly don't know exactly how much lower Bitcoin could go. And if it does, I would say that 67.6 is a pretty likely area there for us. All right, hope this was beneficial for you. Please do me a favor, hit the like button, comment below, help you grow the channel, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.